Welcome to the Rocket Roof Show, where we equip fellow roofers to do more commercial business every first and third Thursday of the month. It's time to launch your business to the next level.
This is Project Command. Stand by your power transfer.
3, 2, 1, blast off!
Welcome back to another episode of the Rocket Roof Show with your host, Andy Neer here. Each and every couple times a month we come in. I was going to say each and every week. It's not each and every week. It's every other week. But we come here and talk about the commercial roofing industry. And I like to bring different guests on to talk about different people in our space. And so that's what we're here to do, is equip and educate contractors for the commercial roofing space. And today here I have a great guest named Devin Bullard. From Bullard Exteriors out of Beaufort, Georgia. Welcome to the show, Devin.
Hey, thanks, Andy.
I'm glad to have you. So
Glad to be here.
I've reading your resume. It's pretty impressive of what you've been able to do the last couple of years. And I really like to see a guy that's done it from the ground up, where, you know, one time you were like me. I mean, you were a one-man show, maybe one piece of equipment show.
Yep.
Like maybe you were talking a one piece of equipment that didn't work, a show. And so I want to talk about how you grew that, and in just a short period of time, you grew to a nice little empire. So yeah, let me kick it off right here. Tell me a little bit about your background, and yeah, we'll start right there. So give me a little snippet of your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So the kind of the short notes version, or Cliff Notes version, is that I started the company in February of 2014. And I came into the roofing and contracting space overall through kind of an unconventional method, I guess. We started out with pressure washing. And so, you know, we don't have the worst winters here in Georgia, but February of 2014 happened to be a bad one. And so I bought a pressure washing unit from a guy. I sold a motorcycle, bought a pressure washing unit from this guy, and it turns out that the heating coil had more holes in it than you could count because it was frozen. And so I didn't realize that when I bought it. It was, you know, I didn't know anything. Mm-hmm. And so I ended up spending all the money I had on a piece of equipment that didn't work. And so I ended up going and found a shop that was able to help me kind of get it fixed up. And the guys really gave me a good start. But I went from pressure washing and doing that door to door to doing every trade by myself, whether it was, you know, roofing, painting, siding, gutters, pressure washing, especially, you know, to now growing a team where we've got, really we started building the team end of 2019, and we've got 12 to 13 full-time people right now, not including, you know, the sub crews and everybody. But yeah, so, you know, worked really from having something broken and figuring out how to make it work.
Dive into that, because you said pressure washing, and I know I'm on a few pages with pressure washing guys, and I just want to make a note that, you know, I meet a lot of pressure washing guys that just don't have a lot of confidence in themselves. And because it takes very little money, very little setup to get started in pressure washing, it's one of those trades that I think a lot of guys, they get into, but they don't see how they can really make a ton of money. They get into it thinking, I'm going to make a little bit of quick money, and I don't have to do a whole lot of, like, I don't got to read blueprints. It's kind of in and out. It's a little bit less labor intensive, or even customer intensive than gutters. Because I know gutters is another one, but like, power washing is kind of like that low-hanging fruit, right? Like, it's the easy one to get into.
Yeah. So the cost of entry is really low. I mean, if you're going to go and get a small setup, you can start out with a $500 setup.
Yep.
I spent about 3 or 4 months doing research before I bought my trailer, and ended up, rather than, you know, starting out with the $500 or $600 one, you know, I tend to go all in on things. And so I went all in and bought a, you know, $3,200, $3,500 hot water setup. The main thing with pressure washing that a lot of people don't realize is that you can set up repeat contracts and do very, very well with that. You know, it's kind of like in the commercial space, a lot of people have service contracts, I know you probably have service contracts with commercial buildings and whatnot, but it's the same thing. So we've done work on everything from, a single wide trailer all the way up to, we had contracts with Caterpillar, FedEx, Kroger's. I mean, a lot of larger companies. I mean, pressure washing, I guess they bought the facility right before they made it to an Amazon facility, but it was a FedEx facility.
Okay.
So what's kind of crazy is that first time that I brought my broken trailer into the shop, the guys that were helping me get it fixed, the very first time I met any of them, there was a gentleman in that shop picking up what would be his, I think, 14th or 15th trailer he had on the road. And I asked him, I said, what do you guys do? And he said, well, we pressure wash every single Walmart from Tennessee to Texas. And that just kind of blew my mind. And that was the very first day that I was really, kind of jumping into it. And so pressure washing is an industry where you can start out and do, if you just want to do houses, I mean, you can do as many houses as you want. We're doing roughly 4 to 6 a day right now, 5 days a week. But you can also go through and pressure wash every Walmart in 20 states. So,
Yep. Okay. So, have you always wanted to own your own business?
Yeah, I have. It's something that I've, really wanted to do since I was a kid. I remember a buddy of mine talking, where kids were like, I'm going to build custom houses. I realized that that's not a path that I wanted to go down, but I always wanted to work for myself. And I always wanted to help create opportunities for others. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. You can do that a lot of different ways in the building industry for sure.
Absolutely.
So you began building out your sales team in 2019, and you really just started with yourself, a team of one, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
What has been the biggest change you've noticed since growing your team?
My daily activities. So, it's one of the things that has been toughest for me is, as a small business owner, a lot of us feel that you have to do everything. You have to do everything. Okay. I'm the best at sales for my business, so I should do all the sales. Or, I can write the estimates the best without messing them up because I've already made all the mistakes. So I need to write all the estimates.
Yep.
And so, what I've had to learn is, okay, what do I give away and what daily tasks do I change so that I'm helping create opportunities for my team rather than me just being in the team all the time.
Right.
So my daily activities now, I really try to focus on what opportunities am I creating? What rooms are we getting in that are helping us? Stuff like that.
You are doing power washing roofs too.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. We do a little bit of that. We actually don't do as much. It's kind of funny. Some of the shingle manufacturers will call us whenever they have a warranty claim for streaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because they know we're certified with all of them. So they know we're not going to damage it.
Right. So is there a structure you guys follow that stands out different compared to other teams in the industry as far as training sales guys or?
Yeah, as far as training goes, we do daily training.
Okay.
I believe in daily training. We're on Grant Cardone's Cardone U every day. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not.
I am.
Okay, great.
I'm not on it, but
that's all right.
Been watching it.
Yeah. So we train on Cardone U every day for about 20 to 30 minutes, to make sure that our guys are really, prepared and in the right mindset before they go out and start speaking to people and, start interacting with people. I like where they talk about it takes less than 12 hours to get rusty. And I just don't want my guys practicing on the customer. So,
right.
That's been really helpful. So we do daily sales training. We do a couple of in-office meetings each week. We talk about, okay, hey, what do you guys need help with? What can we help you grow on? Where do you need a little bit of maybe management intervention with a customer? Maybe you need an extra third-party touch. I mean, what can we support you on?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. And then our follow-up structure is pretty strong. So I would say that training our guys on how to do follow-up to where you're not making the same call. Hey, are you ready for the roof yet? Are you ready to do your roof yet? I mean, you can only make that call so many times before people just stop answering. So
sure. You got to bring new questions or.
That's right.
updates or new information.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just, our main thing is we try to be of value and to give value before we ask for anything.
We want to thank Top Roof Contractors again for their continuing sponsorship of the Rocket Roof Show. Membership in this organization includes reduced rates for commercial roofing leads, third-party verification to add credibility to your company, and a host of valuable benefits upon acceptance into the network. Learn more about them at toproofcontractors.com.
Can you give me one tip for our listeners of maybe one unique response that you might say, okay, I'm calling this guy back for the 6th time.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any new information, but I don't want to say, hey, Bob, I'm calling you to follow up on that estimate. What's something unique that they can, what's one unique thing that they can say?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, the first thing is you want to be committed to making sure that you are the right fit for that customer. So that's step one for us is, do you actually believe that you're the only fit for that customer? Are you fully committed on that? But one of the things that we do is we do the, hey, where did I go wrong call? Like I'll call some of my guys, customers and say, hey, this is Devin. I just wanted to check and see where we dropped the ball.
Okay.
Well, you guys didn't drop the ball. Okay. But now we're back in conversation.
Okay.
So I like that one a lot.
Yep.
I like the survey call, and I like a referral call. So the survey call is, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, just as far as my guy's professionalism, where would you say we're at? And then, depending on how that goes, say, okay, perfect. So you just said all the reasons that you want to work with us. What's it going to take to make that happen for you?
Yep. Yep.
And then the other service call, that's what I call it at least, is so because we do, everything from the roof down, and that's on both the residential and commercial side, residential roofing, commercial roofing, painting, commercial painting, pressure washing, all of that. We'll call and offer a different service. Hey, I know you guys aren't ready to spend $300,000 on the roof yet. What do you say we make the place look a little bit better by doing a $1,500 pressure washing?
Yep.
Whatever that is.
Sure.
So trying multiple doors.
So in sales, do you kind of feel like, because I don't know how to put the word to it, but I have this, I know it when I feel it. When I'm in a situation where I'm being sold to, I'm buying a high priced product, or when I'm trying to sell it to somebody else, like you kind of need to help the person buying it, and you need to help them through the sale. You need to help them through the process of making a decision, right? Because they know the right decision. They know that the right decision to make. Let's say they're putting off a roof. They obviously have leaks coming in their sales department, or they got leaks coming in the loan department. Right now, I have a bank that they have leaks coming in the loan department, so they know they need it done. And I feel like sometimes if I'm the sales guy, it's my obligation to help them navigate from the beginning of the sale to finish the job.
Yeah, well, I mean, like perfect example is with the guys in the loan department. They don't ask you how to do a loan.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how to do a loan. I don't know how to write any of it, but I do know how to fix the problem. And so, that's where the salespeople, I think that the contracting industry, a lot of guys don't have confidence in themselves when they're in a professional environment. Yeah. Us as contractors, I know for me, I can't speak for you as well, but I know for me, especially with starting out as pressure washing, I mean, I was 21 years old. I'm walking in and dealing with the guys that are in charge of a Caterpillar facility. And I'm sitting there like, oh man, who am I? Who am I to tell them what to do on this? But I had to kind of get over that and say, okay, they called me here because they see value in what I can provide to them. And they know that I'm the expert in this space. Yeah. They're the experts in their space. I'm the expert in this space. So yes, you absolutely have to guide the customer through it and provide value. And you have to be willing to tell them when you can't provide value too. Because there's customers that, we don't have a solution for at times, and we have to be willing to tell them that. So,
sometimes I have to put the analogy of a doctor in my head. Doctor comes out, he gets done looking at you, and he's like, well, I'm going to write a prescription for you. You need this, you need this, you need to exercise, you need to stretch. And I think sometimes as a salesperson, we get with a building owner and they're like, well, this is what I want done. And, I'm already looking at this product, and we get this idea in their mind, like, well, they already have their mind made up, or they're going to tell me how to do my job. And that should give you a clue on if that customer's the right fit for you, right? And then B, you should be able to assess the situation and be like, well, this is what as a professional, this is what I'm going to recommend. And I think guys that have been in the industry less than 5 years, they feel like, well, I'm not really an industry expert yet, so I can't really write this prescription. But you can reach out to other experts and say, hey, I know this guy that's on this roofing forum, this Facebook page. I know this guy that's maybe local in my community, or that I'm in this business group with. And you can get that information and perceive as an expert. Get yourself to be perceived as an expert.
Yep. And not only that, but one of the biggest things too is that, you touched on this earlier, but and I did as well when I was talking about us not having confidence, but a lot of times we give the customer the objection before they give us the objection. Yeah. We assume, okay, well, they're going to tell me how to do this, or, they're not going to want this, or they're, going to be cheap on it, or whatever. And we put that out there before they ever say anything. So that's one of the things I do believe, that we create a lot of our own objections, and kind of get in our own way a lot. And so, that's important to know as well. But, definitely, like with a doctor, I mean, you go to them for a reason. The customers come to you and call you for a reason, because in today's day and age, people are reading everything online before they call you.
Yeah.
They're reading about your reviews. They're reading how your service is. They're reading what you do before they ever call you. So they called you because they already view you highly. So and people that have a heart problem don't go to the foot doctor, right?
So people that are looking for a commercial roofer, and they stumble on your website, and it's like, wow, he's got one photo of a commercial roof, but everything else is residential.
Right.
I just had a customer tell me this the other day. He's like, man, I looked at this other guy, and everything is residential, and he just has a couple little blips that he does commercial, but I just don't have a lot of confidence that he knows what he's doing.
Sure.
And so, he's not going to get the call.
Yep.
So it says right here, you focused on residential roofing for the bulk of your business, but you've recently ventured into commercial roofing and solar.
Correct.
So how's that going for you?
Well, solar has been a different ball game for us. It's a much different sale than a roof, because it's a want versus a need. Mm-hmm. You need a roof. You don't necessarily need solar, no matter how much you want it. Mm-hmm. So with that, we're doing well at it, but it's a slower process than I planned. But that's business. You assume that it's going to go one way, and then it takes a little longer, but that's okay. On the commercial side, we've really been working on that this last year and a half, 2 years now. We've done well on commercial coatings. And then we've done some other, TPO stuff like that. Yep. A lot of commercial shingles. I think that's one of the areas that a lot of guys don't really focus on. They want the apartment complexes and forget about the doctor's offices.
Yep.
But
and so for anybody listening here, many people know that I'm a Conklin guy. I do a lot of Conklin coatings, and I train guys, but Devin doesn't know anything about that. Him and I have never talked about coatings. In fact, I didn't know you did coatings until now. So anybody that I'll recruit you after the call. Okay. So we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I do this program completely independent of that thing that I do. But I love coatings, man. Coatings, I tell people, were my gateway drug into commercial.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
When I was doing residential roofing, I had no desire or even daydreams of going into commercial, because I thought it was like, oh, that's for the big boys. That's for the big league guys. That's for the guys that have been around for 60 years. And so I didn't ever have any inclination. But I helped a buddy start a business, and he wanted to do coatings. And so we kind of started doing coatings, and then we accidentally started getting into these big roof jobs. And I thought, it took me a few years to figure it out, but I'm like, wow, this commercial thing isn't too bad a gig. So
the difference, the thing for me is, when I was getting into it, the first 5 years of my business, I spent between pressure washing, painting, and doing prep work. And so the main thing with coatings is get it clean, do the prep work, and apply it at the right thickness and in the right areas. And so for that, it was a natural switch for me. And so, most of our stuff, I'm physically doing on that side of things because, right now that's kind of quality control, but plus I have a lot of fun with it. So
yeah, for sure.
Running we got the 833. It's a beast. It's
Yep.
not as big as some of the other ones, but I mean, that joker will move some paint, or some roof coating. So.
Yep. I've got, don't call it paint. That some guys
I know.
get.
I got beat up by the Hydrostop guys for that.
So we have a 733, which is, it's kind of like the cousin of the 833. It has a couple of the packing units and stuff different, but you can't buy the 733 anymore. So
no.
But if you can get your hands on one, they can be rebuilt forever.
Yep.
So on your sales team, do you have certain people that focus on commercial roofs, or do you just have the salespeople just pretty much have whatever comes their way?
So what I'm working the sales team into right now is on the smaller commercial side. Like I said, a lot of the guys, I call it shiny object syndrome. They're like, oh man, if I could sell that apartment complex, then I'd be set. If I could sell, that townhouse complex or, whatever, or if I could sell 4,300 squares of TPO or, whatever it is, but they forget about the small stuff. Like, hey, there's a quadplex over there that one guy owns. Yep. There's, this unit over there, this doctor's office over here, this daycare, whatever it is. And so I'm really pushing my guys into going after the intro. I call them the intro commercial jobs or the gateway commercials. So my sales reps are starting on some of those. My sales manager, Caleb, does a decent bit with the commercial side with me as well, but it's mostly he and I that do that.
Okay. So I had we have a bunch of jobs on schedule right now for the next month that are all really under 100 square. They're between 40 and 100 square.
Yep.
And, but most of those people already have other buildings besides the ones we're doing. So
absolutely.
You're never going to get the big ones if you're not good at doing the little ones.
Yep.
So
we've got one right now where the total project is a little over 3,000 squares. We started out by doing repairs. We're doing individual repairs on that because we know eventually if we do well on those and they trust us on those, then when it's time for the other, we'll do that.
Yep.
I'm okay playing small in the beginning. We've got customers that started out with $150, $200 pressure washing with us that have done their roof, their siding, their gutters. We've painted their house, so and start small.
So commercial roofing is more transactional. Like the emotional component is removed. It's not as much like the drama that's in residential. Do you find there are sales reps that are more suited for that area as opposed to the other? How do you take an account when building a team as far as residential versus commercial?
So I want the guys to care, number one, and I want them to take pride in what we do. But I don't want them to be shaken by a commercial, building owner telling them, you guys are too much, or, we're not doing it until then, or any of that kind of stuff. So, I think all of my guys right now they all have to start out residential. I don't want them going out in front of building owners and all of that, especially guys that own multiple buildings and stuff, until they know what they're talking about.
Yep.
From the ground level up. So as far as, personality types, I think that the best type of traits that you can have on the commercial side is, being detail oriented. Because while a homeowner might be okay if you tell them, if you over or underestimate something, you're not going to get that leniency on a professional contract. Oh yeah, sorry, we missed this area. Okay, well, your contract says this. It is transactional, like you say, but the main thing that I've found with any of the commercial guys is they want somebody dependable and somebody that knows what they're doing and somebody that is going to pay attention to the details so that they don't have to.
Right. So I lost my train of thought on that last comment you just said. I was going to ask you. So I see a lot of guys that are like, they're comfortable with doing $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 deals. But when there's a 6-figure deal, they're like, they have a hard time making that mental leap.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even talking about like putting their numbers in the right spot. I'm talking about like even just following up, chasing down the lead, making that initial call because they just, it looks like the moon to them.
Yep. Well, a lot of guys will put so much focus on that one job, right? They'll put so much focus and so much like kind of all your eggs in one basket, right?
Yeah.
They become dependent on that one thing. And then if that job goes elsewhere, then they're crushed because they haven't been paying attention to all the other stuff.
Well, I'm not necessarily thinking about that. I'm talking about you're taking care of all the small ones and you're busy taking care of the small ones. I know a couple of guys that are like this. They crush it. They're constantly doing those. Yeah. But they put off calling up the $100,000 job.
Yeah, because they're nervous on it.
They're nervous about it, and they're so comfortable doing the $20,000 deals because they know how to do it. They know how to do it. It's their daily deal. But that $100,000 one, they're like, I should follow up with him today, but I'm nervous, or they put off finishing the estimate because they're like, I'm at 120,000 and I just need to be at like 98. So it doesn't look like 6 figures. And they stall and they stall. And how do you help a guy like that that's like, they can't make that mental leap like that? It should be where it's at. That roof is 120,000 or 200,000. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that you bring that up because we've actually got a residential roof right now that we're bidding that's almost 130. And, my guys are like, how is it that much? Well, it's a specialty product on a 1512 with, and literally just go down the list. And they're like, oh my gosh. And, my guy wants to, can we do a deal? Can we do this? It's like, no, we can't. So you have a couple of different things with that. You've got guys where you can help push them through that. And you can say, hey, number one, profit margin matters. Your margin, the margin is essentially what you get paid from, because if there's no margin, it doesn't matter what your commission says. If there's no money to pay you, then, the business is going out of business.
Yep. So
you have to make them comfortable with that. And then you also have to make sure that they're understanding that it's the same tactics. It's the same process. It's all the same. Price it out, deliver the proposal, sign the proposal, get materials and crews out there, make sure the job goes well and collect. I mean, it's not, it's not rocket science.
Do you think sometimes we take our personal perceptions
into
play?
Absolutely.
Like I would never pay $120,000 for a roof. 120,000, that's more than my house. We play these little games in our head, like.
Yeah, you create your own objection.
Yeah.
I mean, I've dealt with guys where it's like, okay, because you think $5,000 is a lot of money, you have trouble putting a $5,000 bid out on a repair.
Yeah.
Okay. $5,000 to somebody that owns $1 million building that has a tenant paying 15, 20 grand a month, $5,000 is not a lot. $5,000 is, the cost of getting rid of a headache.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the aspirin for them,
Exactly. So, we're kind of bouncing off that subject. Commercial roofing allows you to make more money with one deal. How do you keep your pipeline full year round while waiting for payments on specific deals? There's a longer life cycle, sales cycle. And sometimes sales guys come in. I've talked to sales guys that are like, man, I just don't have time to wait for that cycle on a commercial. I need money to be able to come in. What do you say to guys like that?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what we're doing, because that's where we operate on that is we do the commercial jobs, but we continue every single other thing, every single trade. We make sure that everyone else is busy so that we're not reliant on getting paid on that one. So while, yes, I've got this, ginormous, commercial job we're working, and I know it's going to be 90-day terms on it or 60-day or, whatever it is. Okay. We're going to make sure that we still have the cash flow coming in from all of the small stuff. I mean, whether it's a $450 residential roof repair or $150 pressure washer, we're just still going to keep the cash flow coming in to make sure that everyone's still okay.
And that's a crucial question that the salesman should be asking at the beginning of the sales lead, right?
Yeah.
Like what kind of, especially in commercial, what kind of sales terms do you guys do? Do you do 15 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days?
As far as for the sales guys?
Yeah.
So
shouldn't they be knowing that so that they're not hey man, I'm going to be waiting for my money.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I did, and this is just what we do, we pay the guys as the money's collected. And so, say we try to set milestones on each of our commercial jobs. It doesn't always work out that way naturally, but if we've got a large job I know is going to take a month to do, we try to set milestones so that, there's stuff along the way. But if there's no milestones, then we go into that and I let the rep know, hey, you'll get paid in full at this time once these things happen. So,
but it's
communication.
It's a reality that you're going to have some sales guys that never have money because they never save.
Yep.
Then you get other guys that are like, they put money away. And so they're able to long suffer, or they're able to, go 2 or 3 weeks and chase that big deal, or work on the bigger deals that may take longer to pay.
Sure.
Is that true? A lot of
no, 100%. I mean, I think that the biggest thing with that is that I try to make sure that our guys are focused on the small stuff as well as the big stuff at the same time, especially to make sure that their personal cash flow is staying up. Yeah. Because it doesn't do anybody any good if I let them fail.
Yep. So I got a question that I know I see a lot specifically in the pressure washing pages. So I thought I'd ask you,
sure.
What do you do about the $99 guy? Everybody's got one in their neighborhood. They got all these $99 guys that are, I want to power wash your roof for the sidewalk for $99.
Sure.
And so how do you just, I know you say nothing, but because you're going to be like, yeah, but every time, one goes out of business, 2 more pop up. So how can a guy get out of that rut of focusing on that $99 guy?
Well, I heard this, I don't remember who said it, but the basics of it were that you can control your own market. And with that, I never focused on, I won't say never. After 6 months in business, I didn't focus on the $99 guy because I've never been that. All of our stuff, when I was pressure washing, all of our driveways, all that kind of stuff started at $150. So not quite 99, but almost there. And then I realized, wait a minute, I should be charging more than this. So then bumped it up. Driveway started at $175. Houses start at $250. Then houses now start at $350 and driveways start at $225. And so we still have guys. I mean, there's signs outside the office park right now that we're in that say, pressure washing starting at $99 or driveway cleaning $99.
Yep.
And we have people that ask us about that. They're like, well, so-and-so said they could do it for $99. Yeah, I completely understand. What we provide is not the same as what they provide.
Right.
And I just have to explain that to a customer. And at the end of the day, the customer that wants to only focus on the $99 and not the value that we actually bring, which is being licensed, insured, making sure that all of our guys are like all of our sales reps, all of our, pressure washing guys are W-2, so, that makes a big difference too.
Yep.
So there's some other benefits to, being able to walk up to the door, open our office door and cuss at us if you need to. I mean,
right.
We have a physical location outside of our garage.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I always kind of tell guys that I talk to, the guys that are the $99 guys are going to get the $99 customers.
1,000%. It's not, that's why I don't see it as a competition there, because we're not talking about the same customer. I mean, we're not in the same, I mean, that's like, high school football versus, pro football, you're not in the same league. So that's how I look at it, at least.
So last question, can you turn a $99 customer into a $350 customer?
Yes. Yeah, you absolutely can. I mean, but that comes through educating them.
Yep.
Because if a customer doesn't understand or see the value that you present, then, why would they pay anymore? Right.
Right.
If they don't think that you're doing anything special or anything different or, anything at all, then they're not going to pay for it. So price is only an issue in the absence of value.
And I heard Jordan Belfort, not that he's the greatest, but he's a great salesman. I'm not saying all his ethics are right, but I took some great quotes from him. But he one of his was objections with pricing is just a smoke screen from a customer because they don't know anything else to ask. They don't know any other questions to ask, so they always go to price because that's the most easiest one to start at. So
no, absolutely.
So it's our job to be able to provide value, and there's a lot of different ways to provide value. So I think I got one more question here that I have written down. Payment for commercial roofing is structured differently. Can you tell us about how you could change how it could change client to client? So you have different structures for client to client, and how you maybe collect from them or invoice them or what?
Yeah. So what we try to do on as many of them as possible, like I said, it doesn't work out with everyone, but we try to set milestones. And so we invoice based on milestones. And then on a lot of our commercial stuff, we do deposits. We don't do deposits on residential, but we do deposits on commercial. And so, if we do a deposit, say 30%, and then we do the second 30% when we're 2/3 of the way done. And then we built the final 30%. I say final, I'm coming to the last 10, but the final 30% after completion, after we walk the project with the manager, and then the final 10%, they usually want to hold for 30, 60, or 90 days.
Okay.
So I try to structure it that way rather than, a deposit and then, a 30-day after, and then a 90-day hold on 10 or 15%. Because I've seen a lot of them that do, holds on 10 or 15% until, 3 to 6 months later.
Right. Okay. I was going to wrap it up there, and I'm sorry for the guys that are listening. I want a couple more questions about back in your early days. You got a couple more seconds?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Back in the early days, because I think there's a lot of people that listen here that are a one-man show. I was never a one-man show because I couldn't work by myself. I guess I'm lonely, or I always said it was because every time I got up on the roof, I forgot a tool on the ground. So I always had to have a gopher to go get my tools.
That's fair.
So, and I just didn't like working by myself, man. So, but you said early on you're a one-man show, and so I can highly relate to that. What was that early grind like? Like, tell me some of the biggest hurdles that you found that were like, man, they just seemed insurmountable. They were just hurdles, but you took action and pushed through it.
I mean, there was a lot. There was a lot. So
talk to me about the point in time where, I know in pressure washing, you probably don't take off the tool belt, but there was a point in time where you had to decide, I can't physically do all the power washing and getting out the tools every day and putting them, packing them. I got to decide that somebody else can do this job because I need to get out and sell. Tell me about when you made that transition and what it felt like.
Yeah. So I'll be completely blunt and honest here. I started the business in 2014, and business was going well. We were growing, all of that kind of stuff. It was still just me. Well, then I lost my dad in 2015, and so I kind of went into a slump as far as things go. Lost him young. So I basically just started operating from there. I was still going out doing the jobs, all of that, and then I was listening to a YouTube video actually, and Grant Cardone popped on, and I don't know what video I clicked on or anything like that, but I heard him say, if you are self-employed and you're the only employee, then you don't have a business. You have a job that you're a slave to.
Yep.
And it clicked for me then. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell am I doing? I've been just sitting here operating. I haven't actually built a business. I've built myself a job that pays well.
Yep.
But I haven't built a business. And so from there forward, I started to figure out, okay, how do I bring somebody else in? Because this isn't scalable. I mean, I can't scale myself. I can only do as much as one man can do. So the tough part from there was finding the right people. I went through a lot of people in the beginning. When I started looking at crews, I mean, I went through probably 20 to 30 crews in a 2-year period, on painting, on roofing, on all that kind of stuff. I got very fortunate. I found one guy that is still with me today. His name's Robbie, and he and one other guy together do all of the pressure washing for us to this day. But for 2 years, Robbie and I worked together every day, doing everything. So I didn't all of a sudden just put the tool belt down. Mm-hmm. I went from myself as one person to I brought one more person on, taught him how I did everything, and then ended up buying another truck so that he could go out and do all the same things we were doing. And then I started to build out from that.
So I want to dive into what you said right there, because I'm sure probably nobody ever asked you this particular question, but sure. When you got ready to separate from Robbie, mm-hmm. and okay, he's been playing second fiddle for a while, and now you're ready to, okay, I'm going to go into the office, I'm going to do sales, mm-hmm. and I know a lot of guys are like, well, I am never going to require somebody else to do something I'm not willing to do, but I mean, you already showed you're willing to do it. So what did you do to empower him so that he wasn't spiteful for you? Like, wow, he's just going to be in the office driving around his truck all day while I am working hard. You had to have empowered him or built him up in a way that it made him want to continue to play that role.
Yeah. So, I mean, I basically told him in the beginning, I said, look, if you kind of stick with me on this, then I'm going to continue to build opportunities for you to thrive. And that's the main thing that I would say that you have to do in that, because I tell anybody that comes to work with us here, you can go as far as you're willing to grow. So if you're willing to develop and grow and become, the better version of yourself, then we can help you grow through this. There's not a cap on earnings. There's not a cap on, what you can build with us. It's just a matter of how much are you willing to, to work on that? How much are you willing to personally develop and grow on all of that? And so what I did with Robbie is, I put him in charge of basically of that division of things, of the pressure washing side. So I told him, I said, the main thing is, because at that point he was still hourly with me. Mm-hmm. I said, look, I will make sure that, rain or shine, that every week your bills are covered. I'll make sure that you are paid every single week. I'll make sure that you have enough work to do. And if you don't have enough work to do, I'll make sure that you have enough money to make sure that the work wasn't, the hindrance on that. And as far as I still to this day, I don't ask anybody to do anything I'm not willing to do. Me and Robbie got up and pressure washed about 300 squares of EPDM about 2 months ago, and that was brutal. So, I think, as a leader, whether it's calling and asking somebody, hey, go follow up with that customer, or, go knock on that door, or whatever it is, if you're not willing to do it, it's hard to ask others to do it. I will put a caveat with that, though. One of the things that a lot of us as entrepreneurs need to realize, though, is just being willing to do it and having to do it are two different things.
Right.
So just because I'm willing to go knock on that door every day, which is what I did for, 7 out of the last 8 years, that doesn't mean that I have to do that right now.
Yeah.
So
my dad used to tell me, if I have to do, I can do your job, but if I have to do your job, well, why would I need you?
Exactly.
So, but we all have to work together, right? And I use football analogies all the time. It's like, I'm not a football fan, but I use analogies because it works so great. Like the quarterback always gets all of the praise, but you can't really have a great team if you don't have a punter or a kicker. Like he never gets any of the praise, but he has a purpose, And
the highest scoring guys on the field.
Yep. So, Well, I appreciate you being with me today, Devin. It was very insightful, and I'm really excited to see what you're doing down there in Georgia. And sounds like you're going to just be blowing the doors off here the next couple of years. So
we appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know you're really busy. So I'll probably see you around, maybe have you on another day.
Absolutely. We can talk coatings more in depth.
That's right.
You've been listening to the Rocket Roof Show podcast. Be sure to subscribe through your favorite podcasting platforms such as iTunes or Google Play to get the latest episodes as they are launched. For more, please follow us on social media or visit our website at rocketroofshow.com. We look forward to joining you here again soon at the next launch.